Hey guys, Janie Bolte here, college volleyball recruiting coach, and today I'm going to talk about the steps in the recruiting process and what the recruiting process actually looks like in its reality, how it looks in full. So I'm going to be drawing, and yes, I'm not an artist, and I write like a sixth grade boy, so stick with me. So we're going to pretend this is the recruiting process. Okay, so this is where you're starting. And then up here, you have the goal. This is you getting recruited up here. Okay, so at the bottom of the recruiting process, you have skills and ability. So the recruiting process is truly going to be limited by your skills and ability. If you want to cast a wide net, if you want to be able to look at a lot of different divisions and associations, your skills and ability need to be wider. If you are pretty set on a certain division that is not the highest division, then your skills and ability can be lower. Most kids want to see what their options are. They want to see how far they can go. So if you want that, if you want to try to reach a high division or see what you can achieve, you need to continue to increase and develop your skills and ability, because that's truly what is going to limit where you can reach out to coaches. Okay, so then we have skills and ability. Then you actually need to be seen by a college coach. Okay, you actually need to be evaluated. They're actually going to have to watch you play. Sometimes that can just be in a highlight film if you have a really good highlight film. Most of the time it's in person, either at a tournament or at a camp or a showcase, but that's kind of the next step. You have skills and ability, and then you need to get seen. So after you get seen, typically a lot of coaches will want to hop over to a phone call. So this is where they start to really get to know you a little bit deeper, a little bit better. You get to ask questions. You get to make sure that it's a fit for everyone involved. Okay, so then after you have that phone call, you're typically looking at a visit. So they want to have you on campus. They want to make sure that the school is the right fit for you. They want to make sure that you mesh well with the team. They also, sometimes on phone calls, just one coach will have a phone call and then they'll have you out for a visit. So you need to talk to the other coaches. You need to talk to all the other people. Sometimes on a phone call, you'll have an initial phone call with the assistant, and then they'll have a phone call with the head coach, and then maybe they'll have a phone call with some of the players. Some will just be one phone call, and then everything else comes with the visit. You need to make sure you talk to academics and see the campus, see the school, just get a feel for everything, okay? So then after a visit, you're typically going to get an offer. And then from that offer, you're going to need to understand different things. Like you need to understand your cost of attendance, like all that thing to truly understand what you're getting offered. And then from that offer, you're going to sign, and then you're a college athlete. Okay. So this is what everyone typically thinks the recruiting process looks like. Okay. You have skills and ability. You need to get seen. You have a phone call, visit, offer, sign. That's kind of the skeleton backbone of it. But I've been doing this for over a decade, and there is something that almost every family, every coach, everybody is missing and not realizing is a big part of the recruiting process. So whenever we have our skills and ability, if you just have skills and ability and you just practice in your home gym and you never tell a coach you want to play for them or go figure out a way to get seen by them, you're not going to get recruited. So you have to communicate. You have to tell a coach, I would like to be seen by you. I would like to play for you. I would like you to evaluate me. So you have to communicate, okay? So this blue in here is, you can't read that. That says communication. Sorry, told you. Okay, so communication. So you have to communicate your skills and ability to be able to be evaluated. All right, so after you're evaluated, then you have to continue to communicate to set up a phone call with a college coach. The phone call is communication. You're not serving on a phone call. You're not passing on a phone call. You're communicating. All right. So then from phone call, you have to communicate about next steps, which would be a visit. You have to communicate either on the phone call or after a phone call to push them to that visit. The visit itself is communication. They're testing out who you are as a person, if you could be there, if you could be an actual player on their team, if you fit in with the current players, if you're respectful, if you're crazy, if you're lazy, all of these different things. They're looking at that based on your communication. Sometimes on a visit you may play, they may assess your skills and ability if they have like a tryout type thing, but there's still communication there, okay? Then on that visit or after that visit, you're gonna be communicating about a potential offer. When you get that offer, you have to communicate with the coach. You have to ask clarifying questions. Is this athletic money something I can stack academic money on? You're going to have to communicate with financial aid. You're going to have to communicate with admissions. You're going to have to communicate, okay? Then once you have that offer and everything's settled and you know you want to sign, you're going to have to communicate with the coach to make sure that they know you want to sign. Then there's certain rules around when you get signing paperwork, when it has to be done, dates you can sign for different associations and divisions. So you're going to have to communicate about signing and how you're going to get this paperwork back to them and when you need to get it back to them. So if you actually stop and look at the process, yes, there are certain things that are just black and white skills. Just, are you good enough? And I would even argue getting seen is a lot about communication because coaches are looking at your attitude on the court. They're looking at how you treat your parents. They're looking at how you treat your teammates. They're looking at who you're looking at during a timeout. So I would even say a lot of getting seen is communication as well. There's only one little part that is not communication, and that is skills and ability. So most of the time when people are looking at the recruiting process and they're getting overwhelmed, they're thinking, oh, we just need to figure out what the recruiting process looks like or how we can do the recruiting process, when in reality, you need a communication coach. And this is coming from decades of experience where I have told kids, okay, this is what's next in the recruiting process. And they're like, okay. But whenever I coach kids and they're like, hey, this is how we're going to drive the coach forward in the recruiting process. This is what you need to have ready. This is how I'm going to prep you for a phone call. These are questions you need to ask on this. These are questions you need to ask at a visit. Everything makes so much more sense because most of the recruiting process is communication, okay? Most of the recruiting process is limited to skills and ability. Again, if you want to have a wide array of schools and associations and divisions that you can play at, that you can communicate with, this needs to be wider. You need to have bigger skills and ability. If you're just looking at a certain small division or association, your skills and ability can be a little bit narrower, but the recruiting process is going to be a lot harder if your skills and ability are limited. So this is not to say skills and ability don't matter. They do matter. They're clearly the foundation. Recruiting process truly starts with the child, okay? We can't take someone that is terrible at volleyball and make them a college player. We have to have quality skills and ability at our foundation, but then we need to communicate our way to an offer with those skills and ability as a foundation. So if this is something that you're like, what? Never even thought about this, never heard about this. This is what I've been doing and creating and geeking out over for literally a decade. I have literally been testing things with other kids. I've been testing things with other families. This is the process that truly helps take the stress away, because I can tell you, okay, yeah, you need to go to a tournament and you're still going to feel stressed and anxious because there's more missing. But if I tell you, hey, this is the email we're going to send to a college coach, this is how you're going to act at a tournament, this is what you're going to say if you see them at a tournament, all of that stress, you're like, oh yeah, I got it. Because the missing piece is not what to do in the process. The missing piece is communication. So I'd like to introduce you to myself. I am a college volleyball communication coach. Not really, but kind of, because this is the key. This is what so many people are missing and overlooking and don't realize is truly what sets kids apart in the process. So if this is something you're like, I need a communication coach, guess what? I can do that for you. I have some inner circle spots open. I have a link below. You're going to book a call with me. You're going to fill out some stuff so I can evaluate you. And then we're going to talk and see if you being a part of my inner circle is something that's going to fit both of us so that we can help your child reach their dream of playing college volleyball. Okay, so click out the link below and I'll see you in the next video.